Welcome into Gaughan Racing.
If everyone could hear our producer Ann Buffer back there behind the glass.
That's right.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
Michael and Bruce, you are losing your job. We'll see Ann walking around the ring at the next UFC event. Introduce, it's time.
Well, apparently the Gaughan Racing crew and the South Point Studio crew, to be more exact, I know we're on Sirius, and it doesn't mean anything to Sirius guys.
Inside baseball. Coming
inside. But Sirius Studio was given an extension. So I think all the crew behind the glass is very happy.
No one even knew. Some of us didn't even know that
there was an extension was necessary.
Yeah, so.
But those behind, behind the scenes kind of knew. And so congratulations to all the South Point Studio crew. The as everybody knows, we've had a lot of changes around here in the old glass booth. And the monkeys in the cage got an extension on their contracts. So things are good around the South Point Studio. And Jeff, things are good. Things were more than good at Martinsville this weekend for Hendrick Motorsports.
For Hendrick Motorsports, it was incredible. A 1-2-3 finish.
First time ever in the history of Martinsville, a team was 1-2-3.
Which is pretty amazing. And that there was like 250 Hendrick employees there.
1,500.
Oh, goodness. That was
they had overturned two. Mr. Hendrick and of course, Clay Cramble and all them put a giant hospitality areas, stands, bleacher, everything that hasn't been there for years. And they had 1,500 Hendrick employees all dressed in that red, all dressed in their 40th anniversary of their first win. Had Jeff Bodine there, had the crew chiefs there, had employees that, come and gone, and 1,500 people. And you want to talk about an organization and a group of drivers, Jeff, that just flat out know when to freaking show up.
Yes, they do. I mean, William Byron has become that guy every week. Certainly another strong
Chase
run.
Elliott.
Chase Elliott, he needed that run. Chase Elliott needed a great run. Kyle Larson, who is good everywhere.
Didn't need the run,
he didn't need the run, but he's
and
good.
Alex Bowman was
didn't
eighth.
run poorly. I mean, he finished top 10.
Did you see the Netflix thing? And Mrs. Hendrick, Linda, came out and said something about, well, we should be 1, 2, 3, 4 every week. And she said, it's kind of tongue in cheek, right? Hendrick Motorsports, they honestly think they should be 1, 2, 3, 4 every week.
I know. I mean, poor old Alex Bowman finishes 8th, and he's over there beating himself up.
And he's the guy at the meetings that everybody's dogging for, you sucked this week, man. I can't believe you did that.
Exactly. He's having to buy ice cream for everybody this week, right?
I mean, it was awesome. Way to go, William Byron. Way to go to all the folks at Hendrick. And to the bettors, Jeff.
Can we self-serve for a minute? Well, I know we're going to talk about it in the last segment. You and I are going to need rotator cuff surgery, patting ourselves on the back.
It's going to hurt
this week.
You do me, I'll pat you. You pat me. We'll be all good because it's almost. Change that one quick. Got it.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, wow. Sirius is going to fire us way before we ever get a chance.
This has gone off the rails like a Dawn Staley press conference.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the better part of this. Oh, please get us off screen. Get a graphic up. Okay, the Cookout 400. William Byron, odds to win were 10-1. He was another double digit, win this season.
It's our third one this year.
That's right. Odds top 3 was a 350. Group B, he was a plus 290 versus Kesey was a minus 130. Chevy, which some of us talked about the Chevy odds, plus 240. And his odds, we've said that he was thin to begin with, and we just said he was one of the guys we said, even though he was thin to begin, he's a guy that was going to get thinner. Already down to a plus 500 for the championship. Will he be your early season favorite?
Yeah, I think there's no question he's early season favorite. When you look at the diversity of racetracks that he's won on now, and he's won on some racetracks that he's going to see again, especially Martinsville, knowing that that's going to be the final cutoff race as well before we get to Phoenix. And the way he's running right now, I would expect him to be one of those 8 guys when they get to those final 3 races.
And
before Phoenix.
Rudy Fugle proven to be a hell of a crew chief with his calls. I mean, that was a call win. That was Chase Elliott's race, and
by pitting 1 lap earlier, but Fugle said it was sort of an accident. He just said he didn't really make the call, and he was sitting up there at his press conference and said that it kind of got their laps confused, and that's why William came in a lap early, and Jeff Gordon was sitting up there beside him. Everybody knows Jeff Gordon. He's kind of like the de facto team owner when Hendrick is there. Jeff Gordon was sitting up there just laughing, shaking his head, and said, "Don't tell me that."
No, what you say is, I absolutely planned that. I mean, that was. But
I give Rudy credit for being honest.
Right. But Rudy's doing a hell of a. He was my engineer years ago at Germain. But so third double digit win for William Byron. He was, when he won Daytona, was 16-1. When he won COTA, he was 12-1, and now 10-1 at Martinsville. So, I mean, this guy won on a short track, won on the road course, and now has won now won on a short track, but won road course super speedway.
The lesson to be learned is, why on earth is William Byron ever a double-digit
odd anymore?
I mean, maybe when you get to Daytona and Talladega, because everybody's a double-digit odd, but at that, other than that, William Byron should never be a double-digit guy. He and Kyle Larson should be in the single digits.
They should be single digits every time. Nope. Top 10, had some great runs for some people here this week, Jeff. William Byron, of course, we said 10-1, 350. Kyle Larson, 200, and Chase Elliott, 350, all for top threes. But Bubba Wallace, breakout race, absolutely phenomenal.
Chase Elliott both. I mean, Chase Elliott.
Chase
and
had
Bubba
Chase
Wallace.
had the race that absolutely put him, kind of gets him righted a little bit, where we can start talking about it again. Remember my theory of not talking about him yet. But look at these names. Blaney Logano, top two Fords. Fords had a good run. Joey Logano ran very, very well.
And look, I think Joey Logano really hurt himself when they were making the green flag pit stops, and he waited too long to come in, and he lost too much track position.
Absolutely.
I mean, there were several guys who did that, and it just did not work out for him. And I don't understand on a short track what is really, I mean, I know you're hoping you get a caution and it traps those other guys a lap down, but what you can lose just in one or two laps.
The hard part on short track racing is it's scary when to pit.
But if you see guys,
but once you go, you
right around
go.
you pit, then go. Because guess what? If you're all going to be in the same boat if it comes out, right?
But how about those last two names in the top 10? Stewart Haas cars, and not the two Stewart Haas cars that we expected. Ryan Preece 9th, Chase Briscoe 10th. Briscoe ran 5th and 6th all day long. And I remember I changed my bet right before the end of last show. I said, wait, Chase Briscoe, really strong? Yeah, he lost his group to Bubba Wallace, who had an amazing day. But Briscoe, great run all day. And Ryan Preece pitting in the end.
Well, great call by his crew chief. Yep. You know, that was a tough call. You had an overtime finish. You know, you got all those laps on your tires. I think they all had about 130 laps on their tires there right at the end. I mean, that's a really tough call to make. And the ones that stayed out at the front, you knew that was going to be fine. Yep. Because I think the announcer said it might have been Clint or Harvick once said, if you're not restarting in the top four with 2 laps to go, no matter how your tires are.
Unless the top four completely screw each other.
Now, if the front row stayed out and everybody behind them pitted, well, yeah, you'd be dead in the water. But there were 8 cars that stayed out. So those that pitted weren't
that was from the play last year when Logano won the race where he stayed out and we went, oh, my God. And early in the race, Logano did a 2-tire stop. And nobody expected him to hold on. He was 6th. He did 2. He came out the lead, and he stayed in 3rd for the whole stage.
But it started wearing there toward the end of that, and that really kind of got him behind the 8 ball.
Well, at least it saved him those spots. Let's get to the point standings real quick for the rest of the year. Your Byron with the 3 wins is your playoff standings leader. Your point leader is still Kyle Larson with 309 points, but he is 3rd with only 1 win. Denny Hamlin is in there with the 2 wins and 2nd place. The first guy, Martin Truex Jr., 295 points with no wins, but he is 6th in the playoffs. But the one that matters is that cutoff line, right? You go down to the bottom. Look who is just barely hanging on by 1 point. Kyle Busch is 16th in the playoffs. Not a good start for RCR and the Kyle Busch team.
No, it hasn't been. And, you know, I think we all know Kyle's capability as a driver behind the wheel. We have seen that RCR team really struggle this year. Kyle has struggled. Austin Dillon is probably having one of the worst years of his career. I do not believe this is on the drivers. It cannot be completely on the drivers. It's just, I mean, you are much closer to the RCR program. You used to race over there, but something is amiss. I mean, we've got Chevys running really, really well over at Hendrick.
Chevys dominating, and then but even within the organization, you got one that's here and one that's here. So there's going to have to be.
But I wouldn't put Kyle that high. I mean, he's
16th
he's better than Austin
points to 30th in points. I mean,
but I think your expectations are better than that for both. I mean, you expect both those guys to make the playoffs.
How about one name though that we hadn't mentioned a lot in the playoff standings? One name that was missing last week. You said, look, he's finally on the bottom of the screen below the cut line. All it took. 2 good weeks.
2 good weeks, and Joey Logano has rebounded a bit. I think this week is going to be very big for Joey and that race team to go to now a 1.5 mile track like Texas Motor Speedway and be able to run well there. But certainly their short track program, they've made some major progress there.
Well, and let's talk about the coming up schedule. Right now, we're going to wrap up Martinsville here, and we're going to go to Texas Motor Speedway, the AutoTrader EchoPark Automotive. God, that reminds it gives me Bushy McBush face things in my head. AutoTrader EchoPark Automotive. How many syllables can you put in one sponsor name? Then of course, mile and a half. Then you go to the Geico 500 at Talladega.
Crapshoot 500.
Crapshoot 500.
Yep.
South Point. We should sponsor them. Take it from Vegas. Wait, never mind.
You spent enough money on this studio. You probably and on Daniel Hemrick's race car.
And Hemrick, he's Daniel Hemrick is South Point car this week in Texas. Worth 400 at Dover, one of my favorite tracks. Advent Health 400 at Kansas, and then the Goodyear 400 at Darlington, back on one of its famous weekends. I believe that's Mother's Day
3 out
weekend.
of 5 intermediate tracks now coming up. Those are going to be very, very
But
important.
diabolically different intermediate tracks.
Incredibly different.
And you
no
can't-
question. High bank, relatively flat, and then one that just is a cheese grater on the tires. Because Darlington, there's really nowhere like Darlington. I mean,
No, Darlington's Darlington, baby.
Gateway is a flat Darlington without the rigid racetrack, I guess, because the
best.
design is very similar.
Darlington's the
egg
best,
shape,
man.
But
Darlington. Yeah. Now, we talk about track records at Darlington, at Texas, though. And you said something off air, Jeff, for the show. Remember how we always talked about Ross Chastain, and you got to separate his career from the pre-Ganassi to current, or you had Martin Truex Jr., the years past versus current. You were saying something off air. The guy who's one of the best ever at Texas Motor Speedway, but you're starting to put that asterisk next to him.
yeah, Kyle Busch, Kyle, when you look at his stats at almost every racetrack that we go to,
This
Kyle
one,
Busch,
18 top 10s, 33 races,
Right.
14 top 5s.
And we look at that, and I think sometimes we base our odds on what a driver has done. But I think one of the problems right now is I'm not so sure the car that Kyle Busch is driving is the same car or is up to snuff compared to the cars that he's driven,
In the
especially
past.
all those years at Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, he had a few years, obviously, at Hendrick in the early days, but the cars he had at Joe Gibbs, I just don't think the cars right now he's racing at Childress can be equated into what these stats are from these previous races.
And I have to agree with you on that. Some other guys, I mean, you look, Tyler Reddick, only 5 data points, though. 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s, a win. William Byron, 5-2. He should be a favorite this week when we get to that part of the show. He should be definitely up near the top of that.
There's a name on that list that kind of, honestly, Brendan, shocks me that he hasn't been better.
Which one?
The guy, Martin Truex Jr.
Well,
34 starts and 5 top 5s, no wins, but he got 17 top 10s, so he's finishing the top 10 every other race.
Yep. We come back. We'll talk about his odds to win this race.
From the South Point studio, the perfect blend of sports,
But I think the Niners are going to wear them down. Detroit Pistons lost their 36 games.
comedy,
See over-under on that relationship lasting. I'm going to put mayo in the coffee.
I am beautiful, and a whole lot of Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Join Ryan McCormick,
That's at least 2 picks outside of our own in the first round next year. Oreo.
and host Frank Nicotero.
When I look at the clock, I go, ah! Ah!
Watch Punchlines live at noon every weekday.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind Racin sportsbooks. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sportsbook, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Gaughan Racing, the 2 Utes, Jeff Motley, Brennan Gaughan. We're hanging out, talking about craps right now.
We've gone from having a buffer behind to like Fred Gwynn and My Cousin Vinny
There you go.
character.
The 2 Utes. By the way, Ann wants crap lessons. We do free crap lessons in the
That'd be
pit.
Mr. Gambini. Right? That was
she
Joe
just-
Pesci's character, Mr. Gambini.
Gambini.
Mr. Gambini.
Well, or Callow, depending on
Jerry Callow.
Yeah, Jerry Callow. Not Jerry Gallo.
Jerry Callow.
Okay, wow, we can.
Are we going to have licensing police come after us for reciting
allowed,
lines from My Cousin Vinny?
I think you're allowed so many lines.
Okay.
It's okay.
All
So odds to win the race. We just talked about William Byron and winning all these different places. We talked about who's your favorite to win, and here we go. He is not your favorite to win. Kyle Larson, though, at plus 500 is your favorite. Tyler Reddick, 7. Denny Hamlin, 7. And then Willie B at 800. He's not double digit. At least they've wisened up a little bit here at the South Point. Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., both 10-1. Christopher Bell, 12. Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott, 16. Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, and Bubba Wallace all round out the front page at 18-1. I was talking off air, Jeff. Ty Gibbs, phenomenal season. Things were going great. Now, the last 2 races, short track package, Ty Gibbs, kind of non-existent. Do I jump back on the Ty Gibbs bandwagon now and say, okay, he had a couple bad weeks because he had a couple bad weeks? I think that Ty Gibbs is going to be good this week again.
I think he could be good this week. I think probably
good enough to win. Remember, we were talking about him getting his first win. Like, he was getting his first win.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The guy I like on our first page, if you will, is a double-digit guy, is a teammate to his. Christopher Bell getting a double-digit number at 12-1, and I think Christopher Bell struggled a little bit on these short tracks, kind of like Ty did the last few weeks. In fact, some of the Toyotas, other than Denny and Martin, seem to struggle a little bit. But I think Christopher Bell, when we get on these mile-and-a-half tracks, I think he's pretty strong. I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to go bet him, but as far as liking someone who's got a double-digit odd there, I really kind of like Christopher Bell. But, at the end of the day, it's so hard to bet against Kyle Larson or William Byron week right now.
Go on the last 3 mile and a halves for Ty Gibbs. 7th at Homestead last year, 10th at Atlanta, which doesn't really count, 5th at Vegas this year. And Vegas, Texas, we've talked diabolically different mile and a halves, but still, I don't think that Ty Gibbs ain't terrible.
He's not terrible. But here's my problem though, I appreciate he finished 5th in Las Vegas and he's 18-1, but who finished in front of him at Las Vegas? And Kyle Larson sitting here at plus 500, who won in Vegas, who was so good that day. And I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think so good everywhere.
I can see Ty Gibbs running top 5 at Texas, but I don't see Ty Gibbs going out and winning Texas. Well, Texas is not one of those tracks not lately that you see an upset winner. Now, back in the day when Jeff Burton got his first career win there, I think
different track now. Totally different track.
Different track.
And you said Seabell, 3rd, 34th, and 4th in the last 4 races. Of course, a crash in the one that he finished 34th. And you go mile and a half. So what have you done for me lately? Ooh, that's Vegas 33rd, Homestead 1st. Homestead was last year.
Keep in mind, Vegas, he had the tire issue, hit the wall. He Vegas kind of throw that out because he was
that's right. I remember that he had that. Yeah. I remember that now. So I don't know. I do like the double digit right there for Seabell. 12-1. That's a heck of a number. And the Toyota's been running good this year on some of the mile and a half. So that doesn't scare me. Chase Elliott. What about, do we jump on the Chase Elliott band? Are we back? Do I get back on it and say Chase Elliott?
Give me a mile and a half top 5 run for Chase Elliott, and then I might be back on the Chase Elliott bandwagon because, I do believe he's going to win this year. I really do. But seeing him run well at Martinsville versus Texas,
and Texas might be one of his worst mile and a halves. Last 10 races, only 3 top 10s. Might be one of the worst mile and a halves for Chase Elliott, and the mile and a halves last 10 races overall, 2 top 10s last 9 races.
Well, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think we are going to tell a lot about the rest of the season in the next 6 points races because 5 of them are tracks that are really going to separate the group. Talladega, I kind of look differently because we also, when you look at the 6-point races, that one would be the Coke 600 at Charlotte because we're not counting the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. And I think with Texas and Kansas and Darlington and Dover and Charlotte in there, we're going to find out who's going to be our. We know Byron and Larson. We're going to see who's going to be the guys.
We're going to see who else is going to put their name in.
Maybe Denny Hamlin. He's done well enough, but we're going to see who can challenge those guys.
Yep. Well, let's get to the second half of the page of the odds to win, and amazingly enough, it starts off with a recently former NASCAR champion, Joey Logano 20-1 with Alex Bowman, the other Hendrick car 20-1. Brad Kay and Chris Buescher both 30, the teammates. Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez both down there at 80-1. Noah Gragson been bet down 60-1 since the opening line. Chase Briscoe, Austin Hill 100, and Austin Hill of course running part time with the RCR car. Austin Dillon, Michael McDowell 200, and the field 20-1.
I look at any of those four guys there: Logano, Bowman, Keselowski, Buescher. Those are, but Logano 20.
Here you go. Logano 21. Last 10 races, 4 top 5s. Second. In 2022 here, not too long ago. But the Fords. Do we believe in the Fords again yet? That's the problem.
Well, and I might be sitting here on the same situation with Joey Logano that I am with Chase Elliott. Logano has run well on these 2 short tracks the last 2 weeks, but Logano really, really did struggle
way before.
Before that.
Absolutely.
So let's at 20-1. Now that is tempting, but let's have Joey Logano have a strong run at Texas, and if he has a strong run at Texas, and I'm gonna be like, okay, all those early season concerns, they're in the rearview mirror. Now. Joey's fine. He's gonna have a good year.
But now here's the problem: you're only going to get Joey Logano 20-1, not very often to win a race.
This is true.
So this is a time if you're looking for the flyer. Joey Logano is a good flyer bet. And that Alex Bowman one does intrigue me, only because Bowman's got 2 top 5s here in the last 9 races at Texas. They were a while ago, but Alex Bowman, remember, he's the guy that won Vegas not too long ago. He's the guy that, do you think he's got a little bit of a hot seat going underneath him? Like he knows he kind of has to start performing over there, and hasn't been performing great. Is this the week that there's 2 guys basically that I look at and go, man, both these guys can pop one. This is a good 20-1. This is a good time to say, I could take a flyer.
Well, I think that's certainly a possibility. My thing with Bowman that I struggle with so much is Bowman has a really hard time being the best car in his shop. And or being
yeah, but that's a hell of a shop.
I understand that, but guess what? You still got to beat those 3 other guys in your shop, is what I'm saying. So I don't know. I'm just probably not ready to do that. Honestly, if I look down there and I look at those, Buescher at his hometown track at 30-1 might be a guy that
and been running good.
And he, how he loves Texas. It's his hometown track. It's a big deal to him when he goes down to Texas. I can make a case for why all 4 of those guys, Logano, Bowman, Keselowski, Buescher, could win this race. But when it comes to my picks in the final segment of the show, I don't think you'll see their names up there on winning the race on any of them.
Bad news is Buescher just 1.5 miles. We went on that tear last year, but it wasn't on 1.5 miles. That's kind of the one thing he did not come to tear with like he did last. Where that's still the weakness of that RFK team is those 1.5 miles. Let's get to the top 3s. Top 3s, of course, start off coming from DraftKings. They don't always match anymore, which is kind of nice that we're using different books.
Can I take a little break on top 3s for a second? I want to commend you last week because you made the suggestion that we should bet Kyle Larson for a top 3 who was plus 200 and not bet him to win his group because he was only plus 195 to win his group. So somebody here actually took your advice. I took Kyle Larson for his top 3. And guess what? Not only did he finish top 3, but he lost his group because William Byron was in the same group. So kudos to you for the assist. I got the slam dunk, but you did get the alley-oop pass, so I appreciate
I'll take the assist. I'll take it. A dime is always worth them just as much.
You were known for your passing and
that's
your
right.
scoring.
That's
anyway,
right. I was known
basketball
for my
days.
Top 3s: Kyle Larson is plus 120, Tyler Reddick 170, Denny Hamlin 190, Willie B 200, Ryan Blaney 250, Martin Truex Jr. 275, Seabell 330. I like that. Ross Chastain 400, Chase Elliott 400, Ty Gibbs 450, Bubba Wallace 450, Kyle Busch 5, Joey Logano 550, Alex Bowman 6, and Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski 8-1. Both of those. I'm going to start with the name we didn't talk about, Ross Chastain. In that's a high odd for a Ross Chastain who he's been pretty good.
Seabell plus 330. While you're looking up Chastain stats, I don't have to look up Christopher Bell stats to say that Christopher Bell a plus 330 for a top 3. I really, really like that.
Where did he finish in the last 2 races? In the last race here, second.
Seabell?
No,
Chastain.
And you take the 1.5 miles. Chastain been pretty good 2.5 miles. 4 top 5s, last 10 1.5 miles, 5 top 10s.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Trackhouse team running a little bit better week
to
week, I think.
But still, 2nd, 5th, 7th, 4th. That Trackhouse team has been good on the 1.5 miles, and at plus 400, that's a pretty good number. And do we believe in Bubba Wallace? Bubba Wallace last 10 1.5 miles, 4 top 10s, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s.
His 1.5 mile program has improved immensely.
Finished third in 2023 here. Finished third.
That would be a nice return if you have Bubba.
And he's riding. You know how I feel about that momentum. right? I love Big Mo. That's I don't dislike Bubba Wallace way down there. Do we keep jumping on the Bubba Wallace bandwagon now? Not to wins yet, I wouldn't say, but to keep getting these top threes. That's not terrible.
No, I think there's, like I said, a couple of Toyotas that are worth looking at there. I mean, you mentioned Gibbs and Wallace and Bell. I like all three of those guys. I mean, obviously, I guess they could all three finish in the top three. I don't think they will, but I think all those guys provide some pretty solid odds.
Let's get to the second page real quick, and we got Noah Gragson kicks it off at 12-1. Eric Jones 16, Daniel Suarez and Chase Briscoe both 18, Austin Hill 20, John Hunter at 35, Michael McDougall and Josh Berry, Jimmy Johnson. Oh, Jimmy Johnson's racing.
Jimmy Johnson, welcome back.
Corey LaJoie, Carson Hosfar, Austin Dillon, and Austin Cindric at 40-1. Stenhouse Jr. 50 with Zane Smith 50 and Todd Gilliland 50. I'll pick on the obvious person there. Sorry, Jimmy Johnson. Welcome back, champ. I don't think he's going to make his two current teammates look like fools. I don't think that team is running well enough that Jimmy's going to come in there and say, "Look how great I still am." So sorry, that's just not going to happen there. But nobody really here. Chase Briscoe, a good run, but
yeah, I'm with you here.
Here's a stat. You ready for a stat for Chase Briscoe though? Average finish 10 in the last three races he only has 3 data points. He's got a 15th, a 5th, and a 10th at Texas.
The only problem is I'm betting him here for a top 3. And
you didn't hear me say top 3.
I didn't hear you say top 3. So I don't see. But I'm not going to take anybody on this.
I'll tell you what. If you look for him though, on a top 10, probably a good number. All right, when we come back, guys, we're going to get into our head-to-heads. That's what we're doing next. Yeah, head-to-heads. Thanks.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Camera 2 on a 2-shot right there. Welcome back.
It's like real TV or something.
I know. It's like we need to get a camera facing that way. Ann is in a great mood today. I love it when Ann's in a good mood. It makes our professionally unprofessional much more professional.
Contract extensions will do that for you.
That's right. You play hard for the contract extension. She's trying to keep up the pace.
Right. She's not over there complaining about contracts and being a malcontent. She's not Stephon Diggs. Come on.
And she didn't get caught, paying off her translator, so she can bet all she wants.
I think he got cleared yesterday, didn't he?
Oh,
I don't know.
She can bet. She's allowed to bet. This is Vegas.
That's right.
That's why we're doing this in the middle front of the South Point Sportsbook. We can bet all we want. That's right, Vegas, baby. Okay, we just wrapped up our odds for the top 3 and second page. I feel bad. I kind of dogged my buddy Jimmy there, but sorry, Jimmy. It's just facts is facts.
Yeah, you guys will have a beer about it. Talk about it later.
We're going to head-to-heads now, and there's some hefty numbers in head-to-heads. The problem is there's nothing that's screaming man, this is the one that is a mismatch that I really like. Westgate has their head-to-heads on point this weekend. To me, the only one I
felt
might
really good last week. Remember about Bubba against Josh Berry?
Oh yeah, we all locked that one in.
liked
And
that one,
it was a lock to it. It kicked it. And remember, we argued for it to be 110, not 105, because the odds had changed.
That's right, and it never really was close throughout
No,
the
it
race.
wasn't even close throughout the
Bubba
race.
ran like top 5 all day.
The only one now on the head-to-heads, Ross Chastain, bottom right corner. If you're watching the podcast, Ross Chastain plus 115 to Seabell's minus 135. I know you just talked about how much you like the Seabell pick, Jeff. And Seabell, I don't dislike him. I mean, he's been great on mile and a halves and 5 races, 3 top 5s here. Just that Ross Chastain, there's something in the back of my head talking to me about Ross Chastain right now. But that's even that is a very, very difficult head-to-head pick, even if I'm just looking at that one.
Well, I can see that. A couple I'm looking at, and maybe it's because I was really high on this guy coming into the year, but I really think they have not been as good as I thought they would be, and that's been Tyler Reddick.
I knew you were going to say Tyler Reddick.
And Martin Truex Jr. is a plus 115 against Reddick's minus 135, and Ryan Blaney is a plus 115 against Reddick's minus 135. And I'm very, very tempted on those two right there. I'm just...
And Blaney,
I love Tyler Reddick. He is one of my favorites.
We've been bragging on Tyler Reddick all year, but Ryan Blaney average finish 10-7, 8 top 10s last 10 races, 4 top 5s at Texas, and you move that over to the mile and a half sheet, the number one guy in fantasy points, 10 races, 1 win, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s, average finish 8.6 across all mile and a halves. So that Ryan Blaney bet may be a good one, even though the Ford's been a little weak on the mile and a halves. But I don't dislike that. And the Truex Jr. one, same thing, is which Truex is going to show up.
Back to Blaney for a second. Blaney's kind of been the outlier on the Fords. Even with his teammate Joey Logano, Blaney has run better than most of the other Fords have all year. And look, he's a defending champion. He's defending champion of the whole series. So something to be said for that.
To me, that championship, that was such a late season run to get that, because those Fords were not.
Does he have the trophy?
Yeah, trust me, I'm not dogging it. I don't know. Tyler Reddick, I don't disagree. I kind of like. We've been high on Tyler, but
I haven't seen really the results that I
last week he got a top 10.
Bubba's been a little bit stronger than Reddick
has
this year, without question.
And Tyler last week got a top 10, but no stage points. Wasn't a factor all day. Just the guys pitted. He was running 13th, last car on the lead lap or something like that. He didn't pit. They pitted, and he got a 7th place finish. So
I mean, he's 11th in the championship standings right now. I guess I expect a little more out of
Tyler Reddick.
Out of that.
So
I think that's a team that should just be doing better.
I do. What about Chase Elliott even money versus Ty Gibbs? It's only even money bet, but Chase Elliott, we just talked about him being back. Ty Gibbs had absolutely. Have you run for me lately? Ty Gibbs should be the favorite, but is Chase Elliott? We going to say Chase is back?
Well, that's again. I said I'm just not going to bet Chase Elliott until he runs well on a mile and a half track. When he runs well on a mile and a half track, I have no problem.
And this has not been a good. I said earlier, this has not been a good one for him. So,
yeah,
I don't know. There's just nothing, no fun. I've been killing. By the way, I've been killing you guys in the head-to-heads last 2 seasons. I think I might stay away from today.
They used to call that back in the old days a punch and Judy hitter.
I am punch and
Judy. Heard that term, a punch and Judy hitter.
What was Pete Rose? Was Pete Rose a punch and Judy hitter?
He was definitely a punch and Judy.
Did he hit more than anybody else?
Well, yeah. I mean,
okay.
So was Ty Cobb. Look, those guys got a lot of hits.
Hall of Fame, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, not Pete.
Ty Cobb. I'm talking about Ty
Pete
Cobb.
Pete probably should
Ty
be.
Cobb.
We want to have this discussion
We're not
whether Pete Rose should be in the Hall of
We are
Fame.
going to group matchups right now. Group matchups. Let's get to our Group A. And Group A, of course, your heavy favorites here. You got Kyle Larson at plus 200. You got a 295 for Reddick and 295 for Byron. And then Denny Hamlin, 300. Denny Hamlin in a group matchup at plus 300. That's not a bad number on a Denny Hamlin. You know, his top 3 is 190, 300. That's some enticement there.
It is really an enticement, and
up against 2 Hendrick cars,
and
though.
I feel like, gosh, I feel like I'm bashing on Reddick today, and because I love Tyler Reddick, but I wouldn't put Tyler Reddick in Group A right here. I'm almost thricking that's a 3-man
horse race. I was in the same. I'm on the same opinion right now. I kind of think the same thing. That Denny Hamlin 300 is enticing Kyle Larson, 200.
Byron, 295. And that's only a nickel ahead of Denny Hamlin. 295 for William Byron. He's got 3 wins this year.
And William Byron, 5 top 10s, a win, 2 top 5s in the last 10 races at Texas. William Byron, 7 top 10s, 5 top 5s, 2 wins last 10 mile and a half. I might, that William Byron pick, momentum, what they just came off of, I don't see Rudy Fugle and those guys being let down anytime soon.
No, I think these odds are, I shouldn't say these odds, not all of them, but I think the Larson-Byron differential there really kind of goes back to Las Vegas. I think Larson was so good. And Byron, he's been good in Vegas. He's won in Vegas.
But enticement
wasn't, but
enticement plus 295. I like the two of the dogs there. I like Byron or Hamlin. I like them both. I think I lean towards William Byron just because of the Chevys, how strong they've been on the mile and a half lately. So I like those two guys.
Well, it's between Byron and Larson for me in this one. But I don't think it's a toss-up. I think Larson should be the favorite. So it doesn't make it easy to bet Byron because he's plus 295 because I think Larson's better.
I might actually do a Group A this week. You never know, since I got no head-to-head pick. All right, Group B. We got co-favorites Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr. 255, Seabell 260, and Ross Chastain 305. Ooh,
I'm struggling on the groups today, Brendan.
I am too, but I just said there's something to me right now about that Ross Chastain. You got him sitting at 305, better than his head-to-head matchups, better than his top 3 is better. He's plus 400 top 3. Do I think he's going to have to beat these 3 guys for the top 3? No, I think he's going to have to beat 3 of the guys from Group A for the top 3. So I think that I like Ross Chastain at 305 here.
Well, the 305 number is great. Christopher Bell's plus 260 also. I mean, that's a big number. And I said, I like Christopher Bell for a top 3, and he's got even better odds there. It's like a 330. So, oh boy, I tell you, I really do struggle in these groups. Truex is one who I haven't really seen the mile and a half game yet. So I think if I'm going to look at this, I really see a 3-man horse race. I kind of do there. I'm kind of throwing Truex out of this group, but man, oh man, oh man. I mean, I guess if it's that close, why not take Ross Chastain because it's plus 305 and it's a bigger discrepancy there.
He's been good. Even what have your favorite thing that you always barked at me? What have you done for me lately? Ross Chastain, even lately, mile and a half's been good. I mean, it just you got to look at that. I mean, his last race at where was he at Vegas? Let me look that one up. Where was he? Vegas. Ross Chastain, right here. Ross Chastain 4-5. Vegas. He was 4th at Vegas. Led a couple laps. So
I mean, I can believe me. I can't argue with taking Ross Chastain. I just think this group is very, very difficult for me.
All right. Let's move on to Group C then. Group C, we have 3 co-favorites in this one. Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace, all off at 250, and Kyle Busch at 335. Normally, I'd say you're giving me Kyle Busch at 335 in a Group C. Man, oh my God, what are you thinking? Okay, I'll make this a 3-man horse race for you. Like I said, I don't think Kyle Busch has a chance in Vegas to beat this group.
Well, and I need to see Chase Elliott run better on a mile and a half. So to me, I've just turned him a 2-man horse race between Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace. Now they're both at plus 250. So if you think it's a 2-man horse race, bet them both. Still win, right?
Bubba, pretty. I gave stats earlier about Bubba at Texas. It's not been bad. Bubba's Ty Gibbs though was on such a tear early this season. I mean, that's what gets me is Ty Gibbs was really, really doing well. Bubba, though, 5-4 last 10 mile and a halves. Ty Gibbs, 4-1 last 10 mile and a halves. It's a tough one. It's a coin toss to me between Bubba and Ty. And do I believe the momentum thing? Do I go Bubba?
I think I would lean Bubba a little bit here. I think the fact that Texas is a track, we only go to once a year, so Bubba's got a few more races under his belt here than Ty does. I know Bubba's confidence level, and Bubba also, I know Martinsville doesn't compare to Texas, but I just think Bubba's one of those guys who he feeds off of his emotion and his confidence level so much, and I think when Bubba has a good race, it carries over into the next race.
No, he lets bad races carry in good races.
I mean, sometimes he lets a good race pick him up. He lets a bad race pull him down a little bit. He's getting better at that. I really do think he is. But I think the fact he ran so well at Martinsville last week, and that he has confidence in his mile and a half program, that I kind of like Bubba in this group.
So do I. I'm going to lean that way also, I think. Group D, Alex Bowman, your favorite at 250. Joey Logano right behind him at 260. And then Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, 2 RFK4s at 280. This is a tough week to handicap any of these.
It is. And let me tell you, you know what is funny about looking at Group D?
Chris Buescher's back in it.
When we were going over the odds to win the race,
Yeah.
2 of those guys were 20-1 and 2 of those guys were 30-1, and they were all grouped right together. And I said I could take all 4 of those guys, and I could make a case why all 4 of those guys would have an outside chance to win the race. But I just clumped all 4 of them together, and guess what? They go put them in the same group, which means that's my group where I'm like, no way, I'm throwing up the X. I can't pick
That's my thing, is if Logano is Logano again, he can win.
If Logano becomes Joey Logano, he should run away with this group.
If Bowman does the Bowman-Hendrick magic, he's there. Buescher, how great he was. Brad K running better. This one, I'm putting the X over Group D. Same thing as you. This is my X group this week. Group E, Eric Jones, your favorite, 240. Noah Gragson, 255. Chase Briscoe and Daniel Suarez round it out. I'm going to look up Chase Briscoe because I've had some surprising stats with Briscoe.
I'm going Briscoe. I don't have to talk about it much more. I love Briscoe here. Love Briscoe.
Okay, we're going to go to break. I guess we're done talking about Briscoe. Yeah. Okay, Chase Briscoe.
We're almost ready for a break anyway, so
three races.
I didn't want to run us overtime again.
2 top 10s, 1 top 5 at Texas.
Briscoe.
All right, the man has spoken. All right, when we come back, we'll get to somebody other than Briscoe, our Group F, and our picks.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back. Jeff Motley and I are already talking about lunch now after that last ad.
I was going to say, we get these ads on the screen while we're doing the show in here in the studio, and all of a sudden we got them slicing prime rib at the prime rib block.
And we were talking about the lobster grilled cheese at the Oyster Bar, which is, it's so good. And we're talking about our good buddy Craig Q from Star Nursery.
Craig, if you know Craig weighs 140 pounds soaking wet, and I think he loves to eat the lobster
grilled cheese.
When he comes in.
And then me and you, we look at the thing. It's like, oh look, I'm 2 pounds heavier.
Yeah,
oh my god,
I'm
amazing.
in there eating your pulled crab salad or whatever, and it still doesn't do me any good.
Eating the keto, no carb, nothing.
Although they did get tuna back in there at your request.
Tuna.
It only took you 3 years of begging.
About 2.5.
2.5 years of
Chef
begging
George.
to finally
I
get
got all
tuna
over
back
Chef
on the
George,
menu.
and they remodeled and they put my tuna back.
But if you're in Vegas,
Thank you,
come to South Point. The Oyster Bar is amazing.
Thank you, Chef.
Love it.
Putting my tuna
Love
back
it,
in.
love it.
Love the blackened tuna. Give it a shot. Okay. Sorry for those on Sirius XM that are listening.
Well, they come to Vegas
They
too.
come to Vegas too. So we got it. Just blatant plug. They said we were allowed. So we were just finishing up our groups. We have one group left, and that is Group F. And Group F, how about look at the teams that are in Group F right here, though. Stewart Haas Racing, Josh Berry is 245. Penske's, Austin Cindric, 275. Spire, Corey LaJoy, 275. And Stewart Haas Racing's Ryan Priest, 275. Corey LaJoy at the start of the year, we had so many high hopes, and he has just not done well
Yeah,
this year.
it's kinda-
Coach Hocevar has been better.
The Jory's been on the struggle bus lately.
I don't-
Cindric's been on the struggle bus since he won the Daytona 500 2.5 years ago.
I don't know. I don't. What do I?
This is a tough group here.
This might be the top the toughest
I
week.
think we've seen some signs of Josh Berry emerging a little bit.
But this a mile and a half, that's not. He's
Right,
emerged on the two short tracks. That's been his forte.
If you said you got to pick somebody, I guess I kind of like Priest here, but I'm not picking this group right now.
I don't know. I sure Priest. Okay, if you take the group, LaJoy most experienced, but the best equipment, the most experienced is Ryan Priest. He's the dog, one of the 3 dogs at 275. That's just a dang tough one for me, man. I don't know. That's a.
Yeah, I'm staying away from Group F.
All right, stay away from Group F is Jeff Motley's term. All right, we have our manufacturer prop, and this week manufacturer props look like they're back in order.
And don't look at our screen because our screen is incorrect. So if you're watching this on YouTube, our screen is incorrect.
It is okay.
Yeah, Chevrolet is the favorite at plus 130, but Toyota is our second favorite at plus 135.
Oh, yeah,
the Fords are
yeah.
plus 350.
Sorry.
So our graphic is off. So we are.
They won't even put they're not even going to put the graphic up.
Professionally unprofessional. Oh, there's no graphic.
Yeah, no, they're not going to put it up.
We're just going to talk our way through it.
So,
we're professionally
Chevy
unprofessional
is
today.
plus 130. Toyota is plus 135. Ford is plus 350. Now, does Ford deserve to be plus 350, Jeff?
Yes.
100%.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Chevy, to me, with Byron and Larson, I think it should be a bigger disparity between Chevy and Toyota.
I was just thinking.
So I'm liking Chevy at plus 130 because you're going to give me Byron and Larson.
Chevy could be a minus 110, and I think it would be a fair number. So I do like, even though they're the favorite, I do like the Chevy by the nose over it, and I do agree with that. I think that is the better of the picks is the Chevy top at 130. I do like that.
Yeah, I just think with the level of competitor that you've got out there with the Chevy group, it's kind of hard to go against that one.
It is. All right, well, so Jeff, let's talk about your and I favorite part of the show this week. What championship odds? Yeah, they
haven't really changed.
They haven't changed much,
unless we get a guy who's a long shot who wins a race, which I guess we could see at Talladega. I don't think we're going to see at Texas. The odds aren't really going to be much worth talking about.
But last week in the Martinsville picks, that's why I'm kind of glossing over the championship odds because I want to make fun of the pit crew here for a little bit since they had such good news on everything this week. And wow, do they? I'm looking at all the boys behind that glass. I know it may not be all you guys that make the choices. But man,
they got one right.
I know, but they're still getting their butt kicked by somebody.
That's the one they got right. I also got right, so they didn't gain any ground on me there.
Hey, listen, they are close to positive. They're only minus 1 unit for the year.
Well, first off, we want to say you're welcome to all of our viewers and listeners if you actually listened to us last week.
We killed it. The pit crew got Chase Elliott in Group C. Mr. Jeff Motley, you were almost 5 for 5.
And I would have been 5 for 5 without the late caution because
caution.
I had Todd Gilliland winning his group, which he firmly had in control, as did you, until the caution with 2 laps to go. Gilliland stays out. Priest comes in. He takes tires. Priest passes him on the restart. But I'll take my 4 out of 5. Very happy with my 4 out of 5.
And I was 3 out of 5, but I would have been 4 out of 5 with the last restart because I also had Todd Gilliland. And how about Briscoe? What a tough beat.
You have Briscoe to win a group, and he gets a top 10.
And he was running top 5 most of the day, but Bubba Wallace earned that W on the Bubba Wallace absolutely earned that group. Okay. I mean, look, I was really excited because I was like, hey, Briscoe, look, there he is. I gave that stat last second. He's running great. And I look at the group and I go, wow, Bubba Wallace is kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah, he was really strong all day, and
Gilliland deserved it. Gilliland had a great run. He deserved a top 10.
He did.
He ran top 10 all day.
He was, somebody. I'm a little surprised they didn't pit because he was running 8th.
He was running that spot that he could have pit, and it would have.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing: if you're running 8th and you see the first 7 in front of you all stay out, are you really that? And there was only, I think, 14 or 15 cars on the lead lap.
13.
Was it 13 on the lead? That's only 5 guys pitted. 9 through 13 pitted. So I guess I'm thinking that, man, why?
There was a lucky dog, but he had to start in the back.
So why would you not? I don't know. I'm a little surprised at why anybody that wasn't even in the top 5 on the restart didn't come in and take.
Because those tires didn't wear out.
Well, clearly it made a difference.
It did.
And it was making, look, and you saw what a difference it made when William Byron pitted one lap before the leaders did there, and it got him the win.
This, to me, is what's so much fun about betting NASCAR. It comes down, like, look, we all know that a basketball game can come down to a last shot, or a football game can come down to a last play. But we're talking.
But you see it coming.
Well, but no, you know it's happening, but it's just for that one thing. We're not talking about the win. We're talking about Todd Gilliland finishing 9th to 13th. That was the difference between cashing a ticket.
That's why we're watching the score bug more than
yeah, that's why. I mean, that's what I think is so great about betting NASCAR and how you can make excitement out of any position, because you can watch this group for a 20th place finish for a betting ticket that will win. That is what makes NASCAR betting so much more fun to me than just traditional sports betting. And kudos to the bookmakers for finding ways to make it enticing and fun.
No, I'm totally with you. I think
and if TV needs to get it. TV doesn't get it.
Works on board.
They hire all these schmucks to come out and tell them how to do these betting stuff and all these things, and they miss one of their greatest assets. His name's Michael Gaughan. He's in an office right here. He's been in NASCAR since 1995. If you really want to do something right, you can go talk to him. He's always has his door open, but these guys want to hire these morons that get paid a boatload of money. And you know what Michael Gaughan will do it for? You know how much he'll charge?
No.
He'll charge zero. But then I digress. That was a little political commentary on my own. Rant over. Okay. Let's get to the picks. And Motley, you are not going first again.
Finally.
You have pulled yourself out of the basement by 0.9 units for the season.
Finally.
So you are not in the bottom. So we will start off with the pit crew picks, who are back back in the basement. I love messing with them. And they start off, they got a Group B with Brian Blaney at 255. They're heavy in the groups, I think, like all of us are going to be this week. Kyle Busch in Group C at 335.
Mm-hmm. Took that long shot.
Watch this. They're going to kick our butt with that one too, I bet. Logano Group D at 260. Jones in Group E at 240. And they got Denny Hamlin at plus 125 versus Kyle Larson.
I think I've kind of come up with this internal rule. I don't bet against Larson or Byron anymore.
Right now you can.
I just don't like betting against him.
Remember a couple years ago we used to talk about Byron disappearing? He don't disappear no more.
No, he doesn't disappear anymore. My turn, huh?
Yeah, that's your turn. Because who's in the lead?
All right. Okay, we get it. I'm just glad that I made a huge gain in the standings and am closer to the Mendoza line now. But I was way
You close to me?
I'm not that close to you yet.
Okay,
we got
just
a ways to go. I was very successful with the top 3 last week. So let's hopefully we can be successful again this week.
All right.
I'm going to take Christopher Bell at a plus 330 for a top 3. Why? Did you want to take the same pick?
Just keep going.
Okay. I'm going to take one driver head-to-head, and that's going to be Ryan Blaney over Tyler Reddick. I talked that up enough that I think I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And then I've got 2 group picks. I am taking Bubba Wallace in Group C. I like Bubba there. And then I'm going into Group E. I think I was pretty emphatic with my Briscoe in Group E. So we'll go Briscoe Group E. And then for the second week in a row, I'm also going to go into the manufacturer pick, and I'm going to take Chevy for the second week in a row. So I like Chevy there at plus 130.
Now I'm scrambling to find another pick.
You can pick the same as me. We picked 3 of the same last week and got 2 of them right.
Good. I like that Seabell so much. I like that Christopher Bell plus 130. But
330.
330. But I don't want to be on it if we're both on it. And
you're gonna need something here, you know.
I got plenty of time to make my picks.
We have dead air going on.
All right. Yeah, I guess that doesn't work on
folks
Sirius.
on Sirius just think we dropped our signal.
All right, so I am going to jump the shark. I'm gonna.
Okay, Fonzie.
Yeah,
you realize we're showing our age of where Jump the Shark came from.
All right.
Is anybody under about the age of 45 maybe?
All right, I'm going to jump off Seabell because I like him, but I'm jumping off him. I'm going Kyle Larson top 3. It's a small bet. It's plus 120. I know, but it's the same as I get as normally head-to-head, and I'm not doing a head-to-head this week. So Kyle Larson, top 3. Then I'm going groups. Group A, William Byron. Group B, Ross Chastain. And I'm going Group C, Bubba. I like that pick. I do like the Bubba Wallace.
So you're okay with agreeing with me on Bubba?
Yes, I'm agreeing with you normally. And then my last one, Chevy, top manufacturer, 130.
So we still have two of the same.
Yeah, no, we still. That's what I said. I couldn't.
You
I
just
didn't
want to have 3. I get it.
So those are mine. If you want to win, you bet mine. My name is Brendan Gaughan. If I've missed, I'm Dave Moody. You can call Sirius XM Speedway show from 3 Eastern time to complain.
Didn't we tell people to call Pistone one day to
Yeah, we
complain
did.
if they didn't like something we said?
Yeah. I like messing with Moody better, but all right, Motley, Texas, one of the SMI tracks. You're not going this weekend, but great racetrack. It's going to be a lot of fun. Texas always puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah, they put on a great show. I know it was at one point it was your favorite track. I think you won about 4 or 5 times down there in the Truck Series.
4 in a row, first one.
Yeah, we got a great crew down there at Texas, and also back here in Vegas, NHRA this weekend, drag racing going on this weekend. The 4-wide drag racing here in
bunch
Vegas.
Bunch of the teams stay at South Point. So if you're always, of course, where the racers stay, it doesn't matter if it's NASCAR. It is also NHRA and all sorts of racing. So come on by the South Point. They'll be here. All right, guys, that's our show this week. See you next week when we break down how we did at Texas. Somebody won, and we'll get into whatever the next race is. I already forget. Talladega. Thanks.